As I said there, my name's Keith Williams. I work for the Kyle of Sutherland District Salmon Fishery Board, Kyle of Sutherland Fisheries Trust, and all sorts of other different hats. In the last talk we were hearing about threats which was described as novel. I don't think illegal fishing quite fits in that category. It's been around for a very long time, and I suspect it's going to be around for a very long time yet. So I suspect I'm taking calls from Newcastle in this room about talking about who carries out fisheries enforcement, but just in case some people don't know, probably the majority of water bailiffs are employed by district salmon fishery boards, which is a network across most of Scotland, but not all of it. And fishery boards tend to be the organisations that give bailiffs their warrant, their powers in effect. But it's not just bailiffs, fishery boards that employ bailiffs or do bailiffing. Angling clubs have them as well. And there's also crown bailiffs, so if there's not a district salmon fishery board in an area, there's still a mechanism where bailiffs can be warranted. And there's also river watchers who may not have a warrant, like a police have warrants, for example, but just eyes and ears out on the river. And of course, there's the police. So many bailiffs call the police if there's been an incident, for example. They can get involved. They come across incidents themselves and deal with them. One of our neighbouring catchments doesn't have a fishery board, for example, in the north. And very often, because of that, there's no water bailiffs there. And it's the police that will get called in the first instance. The police will sometimes ask us to help them and to understand what's going on, because they don't have a lot of knowledge. So we've actually had that. People were netting in broad daylight at a well-known tourist spot. The police got called, and then the police called us to give them some advice. The sea fisheries officers as well, there's some overlap in terms of the legislation, but I'm not going to go in too much into that. Don't know too much about it. And in Scotland, a lot of the bailiffing exam and materials that are produced, so there's, just to clarify that most fishery boards will make sure that any prospective water bailiffs have passed an exam to show that they understand the law and then understand their powers and what they can and they can't do. At the moment, that's largely organised by the Institute of Fisheries Management in Scotland, of which I'm delighted to say I'm the chair of, and Lorraine is the secretary of that, who just introduced me. So, question really, does enforcement actually really matter? And I've already been regaled in the foyer here about people that say that's not a problem like it used to be, and of course there's an element of truth in that, but I was expecting that. But we have to think about it in the context of where we are. We've heard a lot this morning about the precipitous declines in our fish stocks, and we'll be hearing a lot about the environmental reasons which are underlying a lot of that, changing temperature, both in our rivers and in the seas, declining water quality. We've all read about that in the newspapers and seen it on the news, and all of that's valid, absolutely. Physical habitat, we'll be hearing a lot this afternoon about how we can improve that habitat and make things better. But none of these problems are going to be fixed anytime soon, in my view. So effective fishery enforcement and protecting what we have is what we're already doing, and I think we can do more. But it's something that we can do practically to help protect and enhance our fish stocks. So again, as is regaled in the foyer, that's two of my water bailiffs there from the Kyle. I call them mine, but there's another one in the room, Stephen Mackenzie, fishery manager on the Oikle. The water bailiffs there are considerably younger than they are now. Won't talk about any of our waistlines either, but slightly different now. But they're holding a net there, which was when I started. We seized that not long after I'd started, 10 years ago or more, on the Kyle. It was becoming less of a regular occurrence, but it was still going on. That's a net, however, which I seized round about the COVID outbreak. I said I seized it because it was an embarrassingly close distance to my house. I don't think the bailiffs disturbed the poachers there, but that was the sight that I was met with when I opened my curtains in the morning. So there's still a threat there. And that net was strung right across the bottom of the River Carron, an important salmon river, and basically that evening would have prevented anything from getting into the river. And there was a couple of casualties, as I say. I think they were disturbed, and they may well have got more. But that's just a bit about our experience on the Kyle, and we certainly saw an upsurge in both netting and illegal netting and illegal rod and line activity during COVID. But was that just us? Well, the statistics would suggest it wasn't. So there's an annual report on wildlife crime, and I think the latest statistics were out. I think there'll be some more along shortly, but the latest one showed basically Police Scotland recorded 27 incidents in 2019-20, and that went up to 107 in 2021 around COVID. People had time on their hands, and they were out doing all sorts of bad things. So the threat is still there. I've already said that we noticed it quite a lot in the Kyle. It was quite strange, actually. We think that the netting activity increased in the Kyle of Sutherland because our local poachers who go elsewhere to poach with nets, because there's easier targets elsewhere, couldn't travel quite so easily because of the travel restrictions, and more cars and that being stopped by police because of COVID, so they stayed closer to home. And the rod and line ones were coming in from all sorts of places, including one that was out on parole from the Central Belt, and he decided to come and do a bit of illegal fishing in our area, and then he ended up very quickly back in prison. And just while we're on about statistics, fish poaching remains the highest recorded wildlife crime by Police Scotland, considerably the highest. And yet the fines are the lowest for any wildlife crime. And I think that's something that I'll come back to later, and I think that's something that, given the fact that salmon are now listed as endangered, I think that's something that maybe we can do something about. So, to summarise on that, I think the COVID period in particular highlighted that there's still a latent threat of illegal activity, and very often what we do in our catchment, I think, and elsewhere, it's still preventing a lot of things. It's a deterrent, and certainly I believe in our catchment, if we weren't out every night from basically March to the end of the season and beyond, then I think it would be far worse. So, in terms of what's happening presently, I've asked a few bailiffs, just because I knew I was going to be standing up in front of you all today, and said, has it declined post-COVID? Was that just a blip during the COVID period when people had more time and more inclination? And I think that's a mixed picture. I think in some areas it's gone back to sort of low levels. In other areas, people still seem to have kept the bug to do it. And I think a key point is, at the moment, much fisheries enforcement and bailiffing, it relies on the fishery boards and their levies to fund the bailiffs. And as obviously the fisheries decline, there's more strain on that resource, and people on fishery boards are less inclined to put resource into many of the activities. The money just simply isn't there anymore when fisheries decline. I was at an angling club meeting last night. I've been involved with that angling club for 40 years. We held it in a very small room at the Editon Village Hall last night, when we used to have the big room. Because last night there was about 10 of us, and 20 years ago there would have been 40 or 50 of us. So again, there's declines in it, less money for river watching eyes and ears, and for clubs that have their own bailiffing and work with us and alongside us. And as money declines, it's one of those things that can be cut back on, but both by angling clubs and fishery boards. And experience in the sector is now, I think, very much at a premium compared to past times. The bailiffs that taught me, Lorraine will know, one of them, Ed Rush on the Conan, and the late Simon McKelvey, they spent a long period where it wasn't going out at night, when it wasn't a question of if you would find some illegal activity, it was how much. And they gathered a lot of experience through that about poaching, how it's done, etc. And that's being lost, and also to deal with incidents when you come across them. So to look to the future, as I say, in my view, I think as abundance declines, then those fish that we have left are ever more important, both economically and ecologically. And we need to maintain enforcement activities as much as possible and utilise new technology as much as possible. And just in case anybody thinks this is just about salmon, it's not. We've reported pearl mussel incidents on our catchment. We warn people about fishing for eels, for example. When people tell you, oh, I'm not fishing for salmon, I'm fishing for eels, well, that's an offence. We very often pick up on the pollution, which affects so much other wildlife as well. Very often it's the bailiffs that either go out and confirm incidents or actually see it. And of course, just the general eyes and ears. So I need to be quick. So what more can we do? Well, the bailiffs that we do have left need to be as well equipped as possible. So boats and canoes will always be useful, but thermal images, now we use them as a matter of routine. Every bailiff that we have, full-time bailiff, has a thermal imager with him or her. And we're considering more use of drones, for example. And with my IFM hat on, we need better training resources and to do things better. And we're trying very much with IFM and through FMS to get better training delivery. And it's not just about money, though. And I think this is very important. And it's something which can be dealt with and I think will be dealt with as part of the implementation plan, which we've been hearing about with the salmon strategy. And I've seen that it's in there. There's so many grey areas in the legislation, it's very unwieldy. And the distinction, for example, the distinction between criminal offences and civil offences for different fish, that the law treats sea trout and brown trout, for example, as if they're different species when they're not. It doesn't make any sense in 2024. And because of these grey areas, large amounts of resources are expended, which I don't believe is efficient at all. And I think that could be something that's can be sorted out. And laws are only good as their enforcement, of course. There's no good passing a law if there's nobody to enforce it. But enforcement itself is a function of the quality of that law. And I think that's something that, as I say, it's something that needs a lot more attention. So to summarise, I don't think effective fishery enforcement has ever mattered more, despite its being unfashionable and unloved. And all these other things that we'll be talking about today, if we don't protect what we've already got, then the gains from those good works that's going to be done won't be maximised. We'll be losing fish. As I mentioned, we need better legislation. It'd be good if penalties would be increased. It's very disheartening to water bailiffs and fishery boards, for example, when they go through great efforts to aid prosecutions, etc., only to find out that somebody was fined £50 or didn't even make it to court. It doesn't send a good signal, particularly as we're now dealing with an endangered species. And as I said, training and resources need to be improved. And there's a plea to value us lovely water bailiffs more, and to look after us, and to think about us out at night, etc. So I'll finish on that note.